You know the goal. You've known it for a while. You've made the plan at least 3 times. You've told yourself you just needed the right moment, the right conditions, the right version of you to show up. Here's what's weird. Your brain wasn't sabotaging those plans because something was wrong with you. It was sabotaging them because something was working exactly right. Your brain was not built for this world. It was built for one where the single biggest risk you faced every day was getting eaten. Back then, your nervous system had one job: keep you alive long enough to pass on your genes. That was the whole assignment. And to do that job, your brain developed an obsession with threats. It got extremely good at imagining what could go wrong. Because the humans who were bad at that, they got eaten. Turns out, the humans who survived weren't the happiest ones. They were the most paranoid ones. And this is where it gets dark. You inherited their brain. So when you try to start something that actually matters to you, your brain doesn't see possibility. It sees exposure. It sees a moment where you could fail in front of people, lose something, or get it wrong in a way that can't be taken back. That, to your ancient brain, sounds a lot like dying. So your brain built a solution, a perimeter around everything familiar. Psychologists call it the comfort zone. Your brain just calls it safe. But here's what nobody talks about. Safe and good are not the same thing. The comfort zone is not where you feel happy. It's where your nervous system stops firing threat signals. That's it. That's the whole deal. You can spend years feeling completely hollow inside your comfort zone, going through motions, watching your own life from about 3 feet behind your own eyes. Your brain doesn't flag that as a problem. It's not optimizing for meaning. It's optimizing for survival. Wait, it gets worse. Every time you avoid something uncomfortable, your brain registers that avoidance as a win. A small chemical signal that says you survived, that staying put was the right call. Your brain literally rewards you for sabotaging yourself. You're not broken. You're caught in a loop that was never built to care about your goals. It was built to keep you breathing. You decide to do something that matters. Your brain runs a threat calculation in under a second. You don't feel it. You don't get a warning. You just notice a few moments later that you're doing something else, and it felt like your own idea. The avoidance never arrives as avoidance. It arrives as logic. Your brain writes an extremely convincing internal monologue for why right now isn't quite the moment. And the more you listen to it, the better it gets at writing. Here's the part that should bother you. Every time you avoid the goal, your brain files it as new evidence. Evidence that the goal is threatening. Evidence that your hesitation was justified. The goal doesn't get easier the longer you wait. It gets heavier. So what do you do with a brain-running software that was never designed for what you're trying to build? You don't fight it. Fighting your threat response is like arguing with a smoke alarm. The alarm doesn't care that you burned the toast. It registered smoke. It's doing its job. What actually works is genuinely smaller than you think. Here's the mechanism. When you do the thing your brain is flagged as threatening and nothing catastrophic happens, your brain logs that as new data. The threat file gets a counter entry. Do it enough times with enough boring outcomes, and the alarm threshold shifts. Behavioral neuroscientists call this extinction learning. The old fear response doesn't get erased, it gets outvoted by evidence. But it only works if the action is small enough to stay below the panic threshold. Embarrassingly small. The kind of small that feels like it can't possibly matter. If you want to write a book, your brain doesn't want to hear about the book. It wants evidence that sitting down to write didn't kill you. One sentence gives it that. Nobody talks about this, but that's the whole game. Stay below the alarm long enough that your brain updates the file. Then, take one slightly larger step. Your brain was shaped by people who survived by assuming the worst. That instinct kept them alive. But you're not trying to survive anymore. You're trying to build something. And those two goals run on completely different operating systems. The sabotage isn't a bad personality trait. It's a mismatch between the problem your brain was designed to solve and the one you're actually facing. The mismatch can be corrected, one boring, survivable step at a time.